This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Scott Howell.
Hello, good neighbors, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast, brought to you by the Friends and Neighbors Group. Of course, my name is Scott Howell. I'll be your host today. A lot of people ask, what is the purpose of the Good Neighbor Podcast? Well, we do this to bring an awareness to the residents of our community, whether current residents that have been here for a long time or new residents, regarding the local owned businesses in the greater Chattanooga area, of course, including Cleveland and Dalton, Georgia. Local businesses are the backbone of our communities. These communities years ago were built on the backs of local businesses, and they're still here and they still need our support. And every local business has a story to tell. And at the Good Neighbor Podcast, we just want to help them shout it from the rooftops. And joining me today is our good neighbor, Logan Brewer at KMA Insurance Group. Logan, thanks for being our special guest on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, Logan, I know we want to learn all about KMA Insurance and let our listeners know what it is that you have to offer. But before we jump into that, is there anything you'd like to tell us about yourself personally or maybe your family?
My business and my family kind of go hand in hand. This insurance agency, my mom purchased in 2011 when I was still in high school.
Okay.
And just kind of hit the ground running and have been pretty successful with it and growing ever since.
Well, Logan, I see a set of antlers in the background back there. So are you a deer hunter or you just like to collect antlers?
I am a deer hunter. Yes.
What's the biggest one you've ever killed?
Probably that one actually in the background. Yeah.
How many points is on that one?
It's 7. It's a mule deer, actually. It's from Canada.
Okay.
Alberta, Canada. Yeah.
From Canada. All right. Well, I've got friends who go to Canada and fish. So, I know that there's a lot of good fishing and hunting up there. But I'll tell you what, Logan, let's just dive in and you tell us all about KMA Insurance Group and what y'all offer the public.
Yeah, so we're just a small family-owned independent agency here in Cleveland. We specialize in commercial insurance as well as home and auto. We do some life insurance. The only thing we really don't dabble in is health insurance. We work with, homeowners, business owners, farmers, anybody like that. We like to reach out to and do business with. So.
Okay. And so you offer, you said you mentioned commercial first. So kind of explain to us what different types of businesses commercial encompasses.
Being independent, we can find somewhere to insure pretty much any type of business. Currently on our book, we work, I would say the biggest portion of our book is with farmers. We insure a lot of farms. Actually, our biggest account is an egg farm.
Okay.
We also do a lot of business with people who own, substantial portfolio of rental properties and things like that.
Okay.
Maybe it's people who own single family rental properties or, a mixture of single family rental properties as well as maybe some smaller apartment complexes, things like that. Those are the two that we work with the most, I would say. But being independent, like I said, we can find somewhere for just about any type of business.
I know I through some personal experiences I found out that churches are regarded as commercial property. So I didn't even think about farms till just now when you said that.
Yeah. Farms are a big one for us. Chicken farms, egg farms, things like that,
So you don't have to be a large manufacturing company to be considered commercial under an insurance classification. That's the thing I was kind of trying to point out there.
No, you could be doing lawn care as a side business, and you still need commercial insurance, So
yes, there you go. Thank you for explaining that, Logan. And you said you also do auto and home, so we all know what that's about, of course, and life insurance, which is a very important vehicle to have as well. So tell us about you said your mom bought this practice. So kind of talking about your journey a little bit. Your mom bought the insurance business. Okay. And of course you were in high school. So you graduate high school and you come into the business with her. Now is your mom still active as well?
She is, yes.
Okay.
I didn't come in straight out of high school. I actually went to college. I got an opportunity to
Okay.
play basketball in college,
Okay.
at college right outside of Knoxville.
Yeah.
I really had no aspirations of being in the insurance business. During that time, I kind of made up my mind that I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. I love
Okay.
sports and working with kids in the sports arena. But I took a couple of, and it actually may have just been one business class in college,
Yeah.
and kind of realized that in the business field, there's a lot more opportunity. There's a lot more pathways, than there would be in the education field. So ultimately, ended up once I got out of college, deciding that I didn't want to pursue teaching, and got my insurance license. Thought I would try it out. I had a good end there, obviously, with the family business, and I've been in it now for I don't even know 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, uh, how long was the KMA insurance in business before your mom purchased it? Have you ever heard anybody give you that statistic?
So before the agency that my mom purchased was actually, we were not an independent at the time. It was a nationwide insurance agency here in
Okay.
Cleveland.
Okay.
The owner had owned the agency here in Cleveland for 30 or 40 years, and
Okay.
was a childhood friend of my grandfather. My mom was in the mortgage business actually,
Okay.
and he reached out and I'm not 100% sure the story of how it came about, but basically gave her an opportunity to purchase the business,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she
So
did.
the point
Took a
is,
risk.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You go ahead, Logan.
No, no, you're fine. Yeah, she took a risk and hit the ground running. Been successful.
Yeah, that's great. The point is, I was wanting you to get across, and thank you for doing that. Is that this is not a new company; it's been around for a long time. And so, your mom, when she took it and bought it and purchased it, then at some point in time, she decided to go independent, change the name to
Yes.
KMA, right?
KMA
Yeah.
Insurance. We switched to an independent roughly about 4 or 5 years ago. So
Okay. All right. Well, that's great to know that you've been around long term. You know, the guy that sold it to your mom, no doubt, was involved in helping her get started and training her somewhat. So, well established company is what we're trying to get across here with KMA. And then, Logan. So you mentioned a while ago that you had might wanted to start out your career teaching, but I noticed something you said in helping young people in sports. Is that kind of what your emphasis was? You wanted to be a coach, right? So you wanted to help young people in teaching, your teaching as well as sports programs. Is that correct?
yes, I grew up. I have two younger brothers. I have a younger sister.
Okay.
A whole multitude of younger cousins that I kind of grew up with. And just I've
Yeah.
always been comfortable around kids and
Yeah.
enjoyed being with kids, and sports was kind of a way that I felt like I could help kids who were playing sports, and teach young people that way. Ended up going a different route, but
Were you
still
an
still I
athlete
guess
in
would be a
school?
yes.
Yeah. What sports did you play?
I played basketball and baseball growing up,
Okay.
um, and then I grew in high school quite a bit. I'm about 6'7". I grew,
Oh wow.
um, and kind of steered away from baseball. I realized that basketball may be an opportunity for me, and ended up getting to play in college. So
Oh nice. Okay. Well, great. Yeah, 6'7". That a lot of good opportunities for people your height in sports. That's for
yeah,
sure. Uh,
yeah.
what do you do for fun now? Do you still do things to sports wise for fun when you're not working?
Well, I'm attempting to be a golfer. I don't know that I would call it fun, but I grew up in a family of outdoorsmen.
Okay.
My great grandfather was a game warden, spent his career working for the state of Tennessee as a game warden,
Oh,
TWRA.
wow.
So we are hunters. Generational. We're actually leaving here in about 11 days to go to Africa for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Um, so getting an opportunity to
So are you
travel the
hunting
world
there?
and
Hunting,
oh yeah,
hunting in Africa? Wow.
oh yeah,
Whew.
yeah,
But the only difference over there is in the South here is that what you're hunting, you're the food,
yep. Yep, I'm nervous about it, but it's a big world. You got to
Well,
go see it.
I'm sure you'll have a blast. I'm sure you'll have a
Yeah.
blast. But so Logan, you're a young guy. You're a young
Mhm.
guy. So a lot of life in front of you. We hope. Hope there's plenty of life in front of you, and you'll have a lot of great experiences. But you know, even in young people's lives, there's little things that come along, hiccups, hardships, challenges that happen, and you at a young age we begin to grow. We begin not, and I don't mean just grow in height or grow in but grow. We I guess if I could use a better word, we mature. Have you had any things happen like that to you that kind of jolted you from your childhood into the beginning of adulthood?
Well, that's a tough one. Um, as far as like a singular event, I don't think I've had a major hardship or challenge. I think I guess my biggest challenge transitioning from a college athlete into the real world is,
Okay.
just becoming an adult and becoming a man and becoming,
Yes.
having to find a career. I struggled after college for a little while, still trying to figure out really what I wanted to do
Sure.
and maturing in that way because growing up until, I was 21, 22 years old, it was nothing but ball for me, and that's all I cared about.
Right.
And then realized I'm probably not going to go to the NBA, so I had to figure out a career,
Yeah.
and that was tough. I mean, it can still be tough. Sometimes you still have doubts on what you really want to do in
Yeah.
life, but
Absolutely.
yeah, not as
I'm a
far as
lot
a
older than
singular
you, and
event. No,
I'm a lot older than you, and I'm telling you, sometimes those doubts still pop up. So
yeah, just got to
yeah,
go with them.
and you'll look back later and realize more that what you went through that you just explained to us, and maybe still going through somewhat, is considered a life challenge. It may not have been something like you had an accident and you changed your life or anything like that, but it's still a challenge that you go through. And when you fully come through the challenge you're going through now, you'll look back and go, okay, that was a good significant bump in my road, and it helped me to mature. There's that if the person doesn't have something to happen to them to bring them from childhood to adulthood, they just wind up not being able to contribute to themselves, to their families. And they wind up just being a big kid and not taking life serious. So that you'll look back one day and realize that you needed what happened to you. You needed it. But
Mhm.
if there was one thing, Logan, that you and your mom would want people to know, what's your mom's name? I'm sorry, I should have asked her name.
Allison
Allison.
Hannah,
Allison what?
Allison Hannah.
Allison Hannah. If there was something, and shout out to you, Allison. Thank you for KMA Insurance and for raising this young gentleman named Logan Brewer. So shout out to you, Allison. But Logan, if there's one thing that your mom, Allison, and yourself would want people to know about y'all, and when I mean y'all, the way you do business and KMA Insurance Group, there's one thing that you would want our listeners to know. They probably wouldn't know unless you told them, and you wanted to shout it from the rooftops, Logan. What would that be?
Um, I would say being a small independent agency, not being a corporate insurance office. We care about our customers. I know that's kind of probably a cliche answer, but you know, we don't operate under sales quotas and things like that. Where we've got to do whatever we have to sell a policy. We want to do what's right by the customers. Um, So that's.
I think that was well put, Logan. I think that was well put. You might think the first part was cliche, but the second part wasn't. We heard the passion in your voice when you said that second part. So it means a lot to know that people are looking out for our good. If they're watching our back, especially people when we depend on you because we don't know enough about what you're doing to make our own informed decisions. Sometimes we depend on you to help us to make those decisions. So kudos to you and your mom. I know that was a brave venture for her to do, is to step out the way she did. But now here you come along and following her footsteps, and hopefully, it's something that will become a legacy for the Hannah Brewer family. That y'all can carry on for years to come. One day you might look back and look behind you and see a little pair of feet walking behind Logan, a little pair of Brewer feet walking behind Logan, calling him daddy, and one day have something to hand to him and say, son, you won't have the roughs that your grandmother had coming up through life, that she helped me to get a good start in life, and I'm going to do the same for you. It might be, I said a little boy, it could be a good little girl. I think you don't have to be a boy. Let me rephrase.
Let's root for boy. Let's root for boy.
Okay. Whoever out there it is that Logan marries one day, he wants a boy. Okay. Logan, tell us whether it's online or offline, how we could go about contacting you or finding out more information about you.
Online. I mean, you can find us on Google. We've got a website. Offline, we're right in the middle of Cleveland, right off Keith Street. You probably, if you're driving down Keith Street, driving past Life Care, you'll see our sign up. Come in and see us.
Give us that address just in case.
It is 3535 Keith Street Northwest. We're right across from Life Care.
And if you don't care, give us your telephone number as well.
423-476-7587.
Okay. And you mentioned a website. What is that website?
It's just KMAInsuranceGroup.com.
KMAInsuranceGroup.com. Are y'all on any social media?
We are. Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. I don't know if we've gotten into the TikTok world yet, but we're old school,
Hey, Facebook and Instagram is a full-time job, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Logan, thank you for being on the podcast today. It was a pleasure meeting you, sir. And give your our hellos to your mom and best wishes for continued success.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And to all the good neighbors of the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland, where KMA Insurance is located, all the way down to Dalton, Georgia. After meeting Logan and learning a little bit more about KMA Insurance, we hope you'll take a moment to consider all they have to offer. Remember them if you have commercial insurance needs, homeowner, auto, and life, as he mentioned. Remember them. Give them a chance to give a quote for your business and consider their local customized service as being a local family group. And before ending this episode, I'd like to thank you all, the listeners, for taking time out of your busy day to visit with us at the Good Neighbor Podcast. Always remember to support the locally owned and operated businesses in the greater Chattanooga area, all the way from Cleveland down to Dalton and everywhere in between. Wished I had time to mention every little community because you're all important. Every local business in those communities is important to all of us. So as consumers, let's do all we can to go out there and support them. This is Scott Howell with the Friends and Neighbors Group. Everyone go out and make this a remarkable day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpcleveland.com. That's gnpcleveland.com or call 423-380-1984.